Hello, good day. Continuing on my work I left off on my last entry on this journal, I have already finished updating some software apps on my Dell gaming computer and have already added a few games on the Steam library. So basically the only left work for me there is to do a few minor cosmetic cleanup on the Dell laptop before it will be packed back to my luggage. Now, another thing is that due to budget constrictions, I can only produce two MGP units, mobile gadgets platform, out of the three intended for my electronic equipment, which I will use when I board a ship. If you're wondering what's an MGP unit, it's basically this platform I'm using, this one. That's the platform I'm using to house all my electronics. Of course, it's gonna be an experimental type. I'm just going to use it when I'm, of course, already boarded on the ship. Now, another thing I had to update is my Nintendo Switch gaming console. I added a couple of more games that Nintendo offers for free. Unfortunately for me, expanding my library of games on Nintendo Switch is limited due to two reasons. One is each Nintendo game's purchase is expensive and I can only buy a few games once in a while. So 3,000 pesos for a single game card is quite expensive even up to this day. The second reason is the limited memory I have on my gaming console, which up to now I'm still having problems buying a bigger SD cards due to the availability. Probably updating my Nintendo Switch will be finished sometime this month, or sometime this month. Now, another thing I have been up to is to reuse again my old HP laptop, which I brought back way 2013. This laptop I'm talking about, the one that I bought. Strangely, to my surprise, this old gaming laptop still functions well for its age and still performs good. Although I still haven't tested this old computer yet for playing games on Steam, and if I can still perform like a good old gaming laptop it did back years ago. Now, I remember stopped using this computer back when its power system started to fail for some reason, and for further checking I found out that the root of the problem was the batteries. Now, turns out that the batteries inside this is, it's internal, not external. And that's the thing that that's the thing that had its main problems, because the battery was, I can't replace it because it's internal, or it took me quite a while to replace it. Now, since its batteries is internal, meaning it cannot be removed without getting a casing of this computer and taking a look inside. I stopped this using computers sometime in 2016 and was on the box for some years until now, when I finally figured on how to remove the internal battery of the computer, or got the idea on how to exactly remove it. As soon as the battery was removed, I quickly factory resetted it back to its Windows 8 operating system state and started working there. For now, I'm now installing a video editing software here called Cyberlink Director 15 on this computer, and this computer will be now, since it's still functional, it will now be dedicated for video editing for blogs. So, lucky me. I didn't know it was still operational after, some years. Now, another thing I had updated recently is the offline journal, and for the first time ever I might be entirely relying on cloud storage service, courtesy of Microsoft OneDrive, to integrate and centralize my entries on the blog. Now, what I'm referring to right now is my offline blog, not this YouTube blogs. Now, basically all my notes on all of my devices, no central or main hard drives to work with. I would be barely relying on cloud service, just some, storage up in the internet. Therefore, my entries will be similar to all my numerous devices as long as it's connected and synced on the Microsoft user account. Now, all my notes and entries will be the same regardless of what kind of platforms or device I will be using. No thanks to Microsoft's universal software. I mean, multi-platform software, I mean. Of course, having an offline journal doesn't mean it's going to be obsolete. I am still keeping an offline journal on my hard drive as a redundant form of journaling in case being online and sync will be limited, such as on my case, being a seafarer on a tanker which has very limited to no internet connection at all. There's not much bandwidth in reality, and if I work on, well, of course it depends on the ship, but on my principle it's quite a bit limited when it comes to bandwidth. There isn't much bandwidth out there. Now another thing is that since I'm expanding to add more videos in my blog, I decided I probably will use equipments that will be hidden and should not be noticeably or shouldn't be easily noticed. Hence, I will largely use spy cams for the videos that I'll be taking on the work. And one last thing before I end this entry is that my sister recently, bought me a brand new iPad, which I will show. There we go. Which I would use on my professional work so far. And I still have to fiddle this for a couple more hours because it just arrived. And yeah, honestly, it would be useful on my work. I mean, if you're a sailor, this iPad is entirely optional because most sailors don't use the iPads. They mostly rely on Androids. But if you're an aviation student, it's highly suggested, and I do highly advise aviation students should invest on having an iPad or an iPad mini, because this is very useful. Even if you're a professional pilot, you use it on your actual work. So yeah, so that goes about it. I have now 2 Apple gadgets at my disposal, one MacBook and this iPad. Okay, so I guess that's about it on my report on this journal. So I'm still thinking if I forgot something. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Uh, uh, by this May, I'll be reporting now to my agency and see if they have any lineups for me on board the ship. Honestly, I've been ignoring them for a few months now, actually half a year, because I got hooked up on studying in aviations. But now I guess it's about time I focused on work and set aside schooling later. After all, I do need the money for my schooling. So yeah, I guess that's about it. So yeah, this is Terrence, the Maritime Aviator. Have a great day and good night.